You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from NVDA to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, welcome to your Hot Options Report for Wednesday, November 12th. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, reminding you, make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you're getting this podcast. And, of course, if you want to go above and beyond, check out theoptionsinsider.com/pro. And, of course, while you're listening to the show, after you're listening to the show, before you're listening to the show, 2 a.m., we don't care. Check it out, thehotoptionsreport.com. It is the best data you're going to get your hands on out there in the world of options flow. All right, let's kick things off in VIX land. Another mixed day in the markets with the S&P kind of looking unched on the day. NASDAQ closing slightly red and the Dow up pretty firmly out there today. So a mixed bag. All that translates into a pretty strong day for VIX. VIX cash closing right around 17.5, up about a quarter of a point, but putting up 1.06 million contracts. That's a hot day out there. The ADV is only 932, so blowing past that today. The hot option out there in VIX land today, 80,000 of the March 50 calls. Looks like that could have been a roll against 80,000 as well of the Jan 47 halves. Either way, March 50s, your big dog. Average price for those, 93 cents. As we keep on rolling out to SPY land, like we said, SPY closing slightly up on the day. 683.17 is where it went out, putting up 9.51 million contracts. So a pretty hot day. The ADV 9.6, so pretty much right in that ballpark, listeners. And the hot option on a hot day in SPY, 673,000 of these 684 calls, slightly out of the money calls where we went out. The average price for those, 62 cents. All right, on to the S we go, listeners. The S, same deal, closing up a little over four handles, 68 half, actually 68, 50, 92 to be precise, putting up 4.04 million contracts against an ADV of about 4.3 million. The hot option in the SPX today, 163,000 of these 6860 calls, $4.47, the average price for those. So maybe a bit of an ouchie if you rode those through the close. As we keep on rolling out to small caps selling off a little over 0.25%, closing 243.62, putting up 1.53 million contracts against an ADV of 1.83, so slightly under expectations. As we keep on rolling, what was the hot option out there in small caps today? It was the 0-day 246 calls, so slightly out of the money calls, going up 103,000 times. Average price for these, 37 cents, so another one perhaps if you bought these and rode them through the close. Maybe not the happiest of campers. As we keep on rolling out to the Qs, the Qs were off about 0.1% today, closing 621 exactly, putting up 5.13 million contracts. That's pretty much almost exactly the ADV of 5.17, so a pretty active day in the Qs. And the hot option out there today, 303,000 of these 621 calls, so exactly where we went out, listeners. Average price for those, 95 cents. All right, out to single name equities we go, listeners. Was it an explosive day out in single name equities? The answer was no. Only cost you 518,000 contracts to break into the top 10. That gets us to our old pal Amazon again, closing right around 244 and a quarter, off nearly $5, about $4.82, nearly 2% today. Amazon, like we said, putting up a little over 500,000 contracts. The hot option out there today, 29, nearly 30,000 of the 2.5 calls, the 250 calls. Average price for these, about $1.05. So they were not giving these away. If you bought these, obviously, listeners, you need Amazon to turn around pretty aggressively the rest of the week as we keep on rolling out to SoFi. Talk about turnarounds. They had sold off below $30 recently, back up above it, rallying about $1.29 again today, closing 32 and a quarter, hitting a new 52-week high out there, up a little over 4% today, putting up 598,000 contracts for the number 9 spot, the hot option out there today, 34,000 of the 32 halves. Average price for these, 53 cents. If you think SoFi can keep going throughout the rest of the week, then perhaps you think these are a good buy as we keep on rolling to number 8, a newcomer. This is Coterra Energy, trading $26.14, selling off about 2/3 of a buck, or about 2.5%. Now, this is another one putting up 626,000 contracts, but it did go ex-div today, so bear that in mind. Probably going to see some funky flow, and that is the case. It is 304,000 of the NOV 25 calls. So again, in the money strikes. That's what people like on div plays. NOV 25 is going up 300,000+ times to lead the dance for number 8. As we keep on rolling to number 7, listeners, it's the fruit company Apple, closing $273.60 off of $1.65, or a little over 0.5% today, putting up 627,000 contracts for the number 7 spot today, the hot option in the fruit company land. 71,000 of the 275 calls. Average price for these, $1.52. If you're buying these, you need Apple to keep running. If you're selling them, you need Apple to stay here or below, listeners, as we keep on rolling to Open. Open is not staying down. Open popping today 87 cents, closing $9.35, so up a little over 10%, putting up 702,000 contracts for the number 6 spot today, the hot option. Nearly 70,000 of the 9 calls. Average price for these, 33 cents. You can do the math. These are looking pretty good right now, listeners. Can Open keep running throughout the rest of the week? We will find out as we keep rolling to number 5, the artist formerly known as Facebook. This is Meta, listeners, putting up 761,000 contracts, selling off aggressively again today, closing a little bit north of $609, selling off nearly $18, or almost 3% on the day. So they came for Facebook today, listeners, again, putting up 761 today, the hot option, 22,000 of the 620 calls. Average price for these, $4.81. So once again, they're not giving these away. If you're buying these, listeners, then you need Facebook/Meta to turn around pretty aggressively. If you're selling them, you're looking pretty good right now. As we keep on rolling to number 4, it's a frequent offender. It's Palantir, listeners, today putting up 768,000 contracts. Good for, again, the number 4 spot. 184 and about a quarter is where it closed, off 6 2/3, or about 3.5%. So they came for Palantir today as well. The hot option out there, 57,000 of the 190s. Average price for these, $1.21. So you know the deal. If you're buying these, you need Palantir to turn around pretty aggressively throughout the rest of the week. As we keep on rolling to number 3. Yes, number 3. It's Tesla, selling off nearly $9 today, $8.88, closing $4.30 3/4, off about exactly 2%, putting up 1.44 million contracts today. And the hot option in Tesla today, 59, nearly 60,000 of the 440 calls. Average price for these, $4.51. So once again, calls reign supreme. This was opening paper. Are folks rolling the bones on Tesla exploding again, or are they selling the heck out of these? We shall see as we keep on rolling to number 2, AMD. AMD popping hard, $259.06 today is where it closed, up $21.50, or a little over 9%. Their CEO making some optimistic remarks on CNBC this morning, putting up 1.58 million contracts today. The hot option out there, 112,000 of the 260 calls. Average price for these, $4.44. See, it works like magic, listeners. Go on TV, talk up your stock, and you get a nice little rally. As we keep on going to number 1 out there today, it's the big dog. It's NVIDIA. 193.93 is where it closed, up about 3/4 of a buck, or nearly 0.5%, putting up a little over about 2.12 million contracts on the tape. And the hot option in NVIDIA today, 213,000 of the 195 calls. Average price for these, $1.90. So again, if you're buying these, you need NVIDIA to turn around pretty aggressively the rest of the week. Can it get it done? We shall find out. That is going to do it for us on the Hot Options Report today. Also going to do it for us on the network today. Back again tomorrow. If you like this kind of flow, you should be listening to the Option Block with our buddy, the Flow Master. A lot of great data there. Then, of course, This Week in Futures Options. Until we wrap it all up again tomorrow, another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.